なんでもね。それよりとっとと中忍になってやろうぜ。何度も試験なんてめんどくせえからな。
賛成。試験なんて可憐なあちしの青春に邪魔なだけだわ。
デブに青春なんて来ないよ。
Hey everybody, welcome to our lesson of learning Japanese. Today we're going to go over another anime line of the day from the show Boruto. And so we are going to take a line from what I believe is the 53rd episode here. And so we're actually going to cover two lines because we're focusing on a kind of conversation and we need to have the context to understand one of the lines, so we might as well just cover two of them. So in this scene we have the characters Shikadai, Chocho, and Inojin talking about the upcoming chunin exams, which are basically their ninja exams, and how taking them again and again over and over would be bothersome or troublesome, and how they interfere with their springtime of youth. So the first line that we have here is said by Shikadai, and he says, Soreyori, totto, chunin ni natte yarouze, ze. Nandomo shiken nante mendokuseeからな.
それよりとっとと中忍になってやろうぜ。何度も試験なんてめんどくせえからな。
And so this is the line right here that's going to translate to basically, let's hurry up and become chunin, because taking exams over and over would be such a drag or something like that. So let's actually break this line down first, even though it's not the one that we're going to focus on. The one we'll focus on is the one next, said by Chocho, but we'll break this one down just to get enough grammar in this lesson. First up, we have this phrasing of Soreyori. It's going to mean basically more than that. Literally, that's what it means basically, but it's used as a kind of transitional phrase to like say, okay, let's forget about what we were just talking about because I have something more relevant or more important to say. After that, we have this pretty funny adverb of totto. This is going to translate to basically quickly or hurriedly. After that, we have the word chunin, which is kind of a specific word. You wouldn't really use this in your normal conversation. It means basically a ninja, a kind of more high-ranking ninja. It's going to be a noun here, or well, it's always going to be a noun, but it's going to be a noun being used with the grammar pattern that is a noun word plus ni naru to mean to become. So to become a chunin, to become a higher ranking ninja. So we have ni naru after it, but the naru is a verb that's going to be conjugated into its te form, so it becomes natte. And the reason why we conjugate into the te form is because we want to use it in turn with another kind of grammar pattern here, which we use the te form of verb plus the phrasing yaru. Yaru is a verb that just pretty much just translates to do, kind of like, or pretty much just like the verb suru, but here it's invoking a kind of more casual speech, more boyish speech. This is further enforced by the sentence ending particle at the end of the sentence here with the ze to just have a more masculine voice.
それよりとっとと中忍になってやろうぜ。
So that's the end of the sentence, but it's not quite the end of the line yet. After that, we have Nandomo shiken nante mendokuseeからな.
何度も試験なんてめんどくせえからな。
Nandomo is a pretty common word right here, just means basically many times. We have the word shiken, which is also pretty darn common. It's just going to mean test or exam. After that, we have nante, which is quite a complicated subject. It's pretty much working as kind of a combination of marking shiken, the test or exam, as kind of the topic, as well as kind of loosely vagifying it, like things like a test. So just to keep things simple for this lesson, let's just interpret it as kind of a combination of marking as a topic, kind of like the hard te would, or the topic marker wa would, as well as kind of implying things like the thing, not so much the thing itself. So kind of like the particle nado. And so yeah, moving on now, we have our kind of last word other than conjunctions and particles, mendokusee, which is going to be a casualization of mendokusai, which means basically troublesome, bothersome. It's literally composed of the words mendo, which means bother, trouble, and kusai, which means kind of like smells of, so smells of trouble. That just naturally becomes troublesome or bothersome, and then it turns into a casual by changing the I in kusai to e, so kusee, mendokusee. And finally, we end the sentence with the kara, which is just going to mean because, and then the na sentence ending particle to kind of add this little emphasis or a rhetorical question kind of pushiness to the statement. So altogether, once again, Soreyori totto chunin ni natte yarouze, ze. Nandomo shiken nante mendokuseeからな. This will translate to, in any case, or more importantly, let's hurry up and become chunin. Taking the exam over and over would be troublesome or annoying or whatever.
何度も試験なんてめんどくせえからな。
Now we move on to Chocho's line. Sansei, shiken nante karen na atashi no seishun ni邪魔なだけだわ. And this right here is going to translate to basically agreed or I agree. Taking exams or exams will just interfere with the springtime of youth of this cute me.
賛成。試験なんて可憐なあちしの青春に邪魔なだけだわ。
So that was the literal translation, which made it kind of unnatural in English, kind of wordy. So let's jump into the Japanese and break it down to see how what it means in Japanese and how we'll probably simplify it, naturalize it into English so it sounds more natural. Again, the first word and sentence right there is just sansei, which just means agreement, and she's just saying basically I agree or agreed. Moving to the second sentence, it starts with the word shiken, which we already know is going to mean test. Again, we have the nante to basically mark it as the topic as well as kind of vagify it and mean more like taking things like exams or something like that. Moving on, we have a na adjective, karen, which is going to translate to kind of like cute or lovely or poor, and it's going to be modifying the noun atashi, which is the first person pronoun. That means I, of course, me, but it's the kind of feminine version. So karen na atashi is going to mean oh sweet me or oh cute me or pitiful poor me. So she's the type of character to basically refer to herself in that kind of third person self-important kind of way. Now we're going to plug that whole phrase karen na atashi in a noun of a noun modification. So the particle no shows up right after it. And then the second noun will be seishun, which means basically youth or springtime of youth. So karen na atashi no seishun is going to be my oh cute me, my springtime of youth. So you can see how that kind of is weird in English. So if you were to translate it naturally, you would probably possibly do away with the whole cute me thing. And now we have this noun of a noun modification, my springtime of youth. The springtime of youth of the cute me. We're going to mark it with the particle ni in order to express kind of a direction towards that springtime of youth of mine. And describing that will be the na adjective jyama, which is going to translate to basically bother or hindrance or an intrusion. So this is a word that can work grammatically in like 3 different ways. It could be a noun, it could be a na adjective, it can be a verbal noun by being jyama suru. Here it looks like we're just going with na adjective because we can see the particle na right after it to mark it as such, and it's being used with the grammar pattern dake, the particle dake. That means basically just or only. So jama na dake is gonna mean basically just a bother or just a trouble or intrusion or hindrance. Then we end the sentence with the copula da. Then there's the sentence ending particle wa, which is used pretty much by female speakers to, you know, represent that feminine aspect of speaking. And so the whole sentence, now let's combine it all together, this will be agreed. I agree. Taking things like exams will only is the dake right there, interfere or be an interference or be a hindrance to my springtime of youth, the springtime of youth of the cute me, if you want to keep in that part. Sansei, shiken nante karen na atashi no seishun ni jyama na dake da wa.
賛成。試験なんて可憐なあちしの青春に邪魔なだけだわ。
Alright, so those are the 2 lines right there said by Shikadai and Chocho respectively. We do have a last line that Inojin comes in after Chocho. It's a pretty snarky jab at her, but we're not going to cover that one. It will be reserved for the bonus line. So yeah, before we end this video, let's just review the grammar patterns that we came across in covering these 2 lines.
なんでもね。それよりとっとと中忍になってやろうぜ。何度も試験なんてめんどくせえからな。
賛成。試験なんて可憐なあちしの青春に邪魔なだけだわ。
デブに青春なんて来ないよ。
あ
First up, we have a kind of transitional phrase, Soreyori, which means basically other than that, more than that, more importantly, leaving that aside, something along those lines. We had the ni naru grammar pattern, which means basically to become something. So we used it with the word chunin, which is the high-ranking ninja. So chunin ni naru is going to mean to become a chunin. We had the te form with that naru turning into natte, and we kind of used it with the other verb yaru, which means to do, and that was in its volitional form, yaro. After that, we had the appearance of nante, which is a pretty complicated phrase, not something that we can really cover in this lesson alone, but we did get a glimpse of one meaning that it can hold, which is basically marking something as a topic similarly to the particle wa would, as well as kind of employing the effect of nado to mean like things like that, not so much that itself. We came across mendokusee being turned into mendokusee, which is the casualization of it. Something you wouldn't really want to do in a conversation with people unless you were talking with your friends or something. Moving on to Chocho's line, we had nante appearing again. We had a regular usage of a na adjective modifying a noun with karen na atashi, the noun of a noun modification with the particle no there. And then we had a pretty simple usage of a na adjective with dake, jyama na dake. Then yeah, that line right there ended with the da. Then the sending particle wa, which again you probably wouldn't really use in everyday conversation because it's kind of an exaggerated way to express feminine speech. And so there we go. That's another line or two lines covered from the show Boruto. It's a long-running show, and here's to hoping that we can get some more lines out of it that we can learn from.
なんでもね。それよりとっとと中忍になってやろうぜ。何度も試験なんてめんどくせえからな。
賛成。試験なんて可憐なあちしの青春に邪魔なだけだわ。
デブに青春なんて来ないよ。
Alright, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode of Anime Line of the Day. Remember, if there were grammar patterns mentioned for this line, they'll be mentioned in the description or the pinned comment below with links to the individual lessons on them. You can also probably find them in the playlist of our complete grammar video series shown on the screen right here alongside our anime playlist. And last but not least, don't forget to try to translate the bonus line we provided. Leave your translation in a comment below. Check out our Patreon, like the video, and subscribe. With all that said and done, see you next time.